you guys for taking some time to join me this afternoon. I know you guys are super busy. For those of you guys that don't know Cory and Rhonda Burtner, they're not only just an incredible real estate dynamic duo team, husband and wife, they're just incredible human beings across the board, which I've always respected with you guys, not only how you show up in your business, but I've met your kids. I see how you show up in the community, and it's impressive all around. So again, thank you guys for taking some time to share with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can't make our heads too big. We won't fit in this picture.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's good. I'll keep paying compliments. I know you guys will stay. So one of the things that I thought would be fun to talk about is there's not very many really successful husband and wife teams in any of our offices. We have a handful of them. And as incredible as my wife is, I think she would kill me if we tried to go in business together. But you guys do it at such a high level. It makes me curious, like, what did that first conversation sound like when you guys were like, hey, let's team up and do this? And how long ago was that?
It was a road to get there.
It was.
To say that.
I was active duty for a long time. And so we had that first conversation probably almost 9 years ago now. So yeah, I went from being active duty, chasing terrorists all over the world, to Friday I retired, and on Monday I was team leader in an office in South Ogden. So that was an interesting transition, probably more for some of the agents in the office than it was for me, but it was an interesting time for sure. But Rhonda and I actually talked about it because we wanted to do something together after a lot of time of being apart because of that situation, with the military life, so to speak. And then I started doing it. I had only about 3 months before Rhonda got her license. And she kind of saw some of the things and started helping me. And it was kind of funny because the government did one.
Yeah, I did not intend to do this. Yeah. So the plan was Cory was going to retire. I was an audit manager for the government, so I was going to continue doing that. And then Cory was going to do real estate. And then, like Cory said, I started getting my license just so I could help him with things. And then the government shut down for a couple weeks. And I realized during that shutdown, I really like doing this. And here we are. That's the short version. But when he was team leader for 3 years. So during that time, I really did all of the business stuff because there wasn't time for him. As you know, when you're a team leader, there is no time to do anything else. So really, I did all the sales side of it. He did the office side. And then when he stepped out after 3 years, then it was just him and I, and we had to figure out kind of our roles and how we were going to do this together. So It's like I said, it was a road to get there because at the beginning, we both did everything. And now as things have evolved, we just kind of naturally went where our strengths are. So Cory does the vast majority of the listings. I do a lot of the operations things, and that's just kind of naturally where we end up. So that's good. Yeah.
It is awesome. I keep forgetting that even though I keep thinking it's common knowledge, everybody knows, Cory, that you were the team leader in the office. And I keep remembering the agent mix has changed so much in KW Success over the last couple of years that I bet there's a handful of our agents that don't realize your leadership impact in the office at KW Success too, as the team leader for so many years, which was awesome. And I loved working with you in that capacity. So I think that's an awesome story that you guys went from being apart, spending so much time apart, Cory in the team leader position, Rhonda, you come in and get your license to do some support. And here you guys are 3 years later and doing nearly $20 million a year in business. And I think you said you're on track for like 70 plus transactions this year. Somewhere along that. That's pretty incredible to go just in a couple of years to grow that size of a business. What would you guys attribute it to?
Well, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. When we first started, again, this was 8 or 9 years ago when he was team leader, and then he did that for 3 and then stepped out. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how long it's just been the two of us. I don't know, 5 maybe? I think 5.
3 or 4, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It was just...
But regardless, in that short amount of time to build that big of a business with the two of you is pretty incredible. If you could go back in time and say, I pinpoint these 1 or 2 habits or skills or models on what you've built your business on, can you pinpoint something along those lines?
definitely. So time blocking is one. Being able to. I learned a long time ago, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't happen. So that's a big deal for us. So that wasn't us. I don't know what that was, making that noise. But we learned a long time ago that, we put our schedule together and we try to follow that as much as we can. And if it's not on the schedule, it doesn't happen or it didn't happen. So if you want to, that's kind of the initial thing. And then to be able to execute from there,
So back to his military days, he had everything planned out, like every minute of the day. And then when he started real estate, he just transferred that over. And then we share a calendar. So sometimes I'll say something, oh, we have to go here. And he'll be like, it's not on the calendar. I just know it's here. So I have to remember, I have to be putting everything in there. And like I said, we share that so we know what's going on. And he'll say to me, hey, help me protect this time. This is my lead gen time, or this is my follow-up. And that's my job to make sure that nothing gets in the way of him doing that. So yeah, he's much more regimented than I am though. So
it's funny you went there, because that's what was going to be my follow-up question, is like a lot of that discipline. I'm wondering how much of that came from your military background, right? Because I imagine there was some pretty serious consequences, particularly in your early years of the military. You missed an appointment or a time frame, there was probably some punishment that happened.
Yeah, you didn't do that. You learned that really fast. That was not an option. So that's why I'm always early to everything. So in this business, it drives me crazy that when anybody says something about realtor time, I want to strangle them immediately. So that's not cool. But no, being on time and doing things, following your schedule, executing what you said you were going to do, that's important. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think a follow-up question to that, if you guys are okay sticking on time blocking for a minute, I think this is a skill set that everybody could do better. And I really attribute a lot of my success to how well I live by my calendar as well. And I think a lot of people think, well, it makes sense. If I have an appointment, I need to put it on my calendar. But where I think a lot of people miss the boat is pre-forecasting the things that should be on their calendar before their actual appointments. Like you guys had mentioned lead generation and things like that. So tell me a little bit about what your calendar looks like. What are those protected times that, regardless if it's like I have an appointment with Joe and Mary, it's like, how do you time block that out to say, because we're time blocked, we're forecasting?
I don't think I can show you on here, but what I was going to show you is Cory has every night, or every night that he doesn't have something already planned, is in there for a listing or a buyer interview is already blocked off. So we're anticipating, we're not just waiting for something to happen and saying, oh, we've got an appointment there. It's like, it's already there. It's already ready to go. And then he has his lead gen blocked off every day as well. Like he's got door knocking certain days and follow-ups on others, and that's already preset. So it's protecting that time is every bit as important as getting to an appointment that you already have set at a certain time. So that's something I kind of learned from him.
And there's no blank time. So if there's not an appointment that was in there, that was a failure, and that time needs to be filled with door knocking or lead gen of some type. So
yeah, I love that. And to me, that gamifies it a little bit, right? I think the majority of realtors would say they love to win, right? They have some element of competitiveness in them. And for me, I'm the same way. It's like, if I have a listing appointment Thursday at 4 o'clock in my calendar, it might just say listing appointment. I don't know who it's with, but now it's a game. It's who I got to find someone before then that's going to fill that slot. And the thing I love about a digital calendar is if I don't fill it beforehand, or to your point, is I'm going to use that time to find it, and I'm going to drag and drop that. It's not that I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I didn't make that. I have the ability to drag that forward and say, okay, when am I going to make that up? Because I'm committed to my goals.
Also, along those lines, if you do have a real listing appointment in there, right? Some agents fall into this trap where I've already got a listing appointment scheduled for Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday, when they wake up, they're like, oh, I've already got a listing appointment to go to. So the old saying of success is your biggest, misstep to failure. That's a big thing too. If you only have in there the scheduled appointments that you're going to make, or that you already have taken, that's an easy way to look at it and say, I'm already full. Or I'm already successful. So putting those spots in there every day, every week leads you to, hey, I've got to keep going. I got to fill those spots in.
I love it. So real quickly along those lines, I know you're very good at time blocking your business, and I know you guys have some incredibly successful teenage kids, and I think you have two daughters and one son. Is that right?
Right.
Remember
Right.
right? Two of them are in college, and one of them's in junior high. Did I remember that, or she's still in elementary? Sixth grade.
She's ruling the elementary this year. So.
Awesome. I got a sixth grader too that had a little extra bounce in her step. She started sixth grade today. What about time blocking family time and personal time? Yeah. Do you hold that with as much diligence and commitment on your calendar as you do your business?
Well, that's kind of a funny one, I think, because to me, when I time block for my family, it kind of feels like pressure. Like, hey, we need to do something. This is on there. It's kind of weird. It's like, gosh, how can I explain that? Yeah, we do have family time for sure. We've got a lot of family time built in there. Like Sundays are usually blocked out unless we've got an out-of-state client coming in. Saturday afternoons usually. But
and we put specific events in there too for the family. So, that goes on our calendar. And then I do, there's different time that everybody needs, right? So Rhonda also needs some time alone. That's just her personality. So I coach soccer. We have a competitive soccer team. So the kids have all gone through all of that. So those dates and times are all on the calendar. So we do a lot of activities together as a family, and all of that stuff has to be on the calendar.
Yeah.
But not this general time.
Not just like not like a general open time. No. And funny enough, if there was an open time on the calendar, our kids would probably be like, what is going on? Like something happened.
Wrong with mom and dad.
Yeah. And they're older now too. It's almost 23, Bree's 18, so they're kind of doing their own thing. But then with Ivy, she tags along a lot with us. Cory takes her door knocking. People are more likely to open the door when she's standing there with him. Awesome. She kind of goes along.
She holds the flyers and hands it out. Nobody's going to turn down an 11-year-old.
Right.
And we've integrated them all into the business as much as possible. We'll take them to certain events that are appropriate, but we let them have jobs within there that they can do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's so important to make sure we're protecting that time. Like it used to kill me because I was so good at filling up my calendar with everything I needed to get done business. But then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to my daughter's dance recital, or I'm not at this play at the school because I already filled that time with an appointment. So one of the things that's helped me over time is I now have, it sounds a little crazy, but my personal assistant has a meeting with my wife and says, what's everything that you need Marcus at this week? And she goes and makes sure it's all on my calendar and protected, moves everything around in advance. Yeah. And it's really, I still don't make every little thing, but I've been able to connect and be at a lot more of those important, impactful moments that before sometimes I struggled and I'd kick myself and be mad at myself for not being there. But I think that is an important part of time blocking. It goes beyond business. It's an overall control of your calendar to really create that life you want. So I appreciate you guys are doing that.
Right. I think that's the key too, is the life you want. Everyone's is going to be different, and it's different seasons of your kids' lives. If they're little, then you know what? Spend more time with them because the business will still be there. You can still work it. It all just changes as, things move on. There's no sense in doing this if you don't have the family life and the, life by design. It's supposed to be what works for you and your family. So. And
we don't call it our business calendar either. It's the calendar. So it integrates everything.
It's just different colors.
So it makes so much sense. I love that.
Yeah.
I know we kind of live in a crazy world right now with the pandemic and COVID and everything going on. I'm curious, has anything changed in your business from an activity standpoint or from a result standpoint based on what's going on in the world right now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So everybody can kind of attest to this within the real estate community and probably the world, but there was about a week or two kind of pause where everybody kind of was like, all right, are we really going to have 3 million deaths in the United States? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And during that time, I did a few Zoom calls and some things that were, we're like, all right, we're going to be flexible. We're going to figure this out immediately. How are we going to tackle this thing? And then it kind of shook out where, the numbers weren't going to be what they were. And we're not saying that, there isn't things happening, but the numbers weren't what they were said they were going to be, I guess is the way to say it.
People still need to move.
And people are still, buying and selling. So we kept our calendar as close to the same as we could. We still do, of course, have clients that have said, we're not going to do anything for, X number of months, and we keep in contact with them and all of that. But we're still doing in-house listing appointments. We're still knocking doors. We're still doing all those things. We just made some, flexible adjustments to, for example, open houses.
Like open houses, we don't do those like we used to.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
used to.
We don't feel comfortable with it, and our clients don't feel comfortable with it.
Mhm.
So we've changed with that, but bottom line is people still need to move. Some of our clients, didn't feel an impact at all. Their jobs changed. Maybe they got increases. Maybe they're working more hours and they want a bigger house. And then we've got others that their hours were cut, so they had to move. And a lot of our military, that things haven't really skipped a beat with them. They're all still on track to move on time. Maybe a month or two lag behind, but for the most part, they're still moving. So that really hasn't changed. So we've adjusted, but it hasn't really changed. Yeah.
And I think that's I think you're hitting the nail on the head. You've adjusted your activities, but you're still active. And it's so interesting to me that I get a call literally 1 minute from an agent that's like, the whole world's coming to an end. I'm not doing any business. And 5 minutes later, I get a call from another agent that's like, I'm having my best month ever. Things are crazy right now. And it's literally the difference of someone freezing out of fear of like, I don't know what's going on. And the agent that can adjust their activities, but stay consistent with activities. And particularly here in Utah, we've been so fortunate with the strength of the real estate market.
Yeah, and one thing that Russie said during a team meeting, right when this all first came out, this just really resonated with me. She said, this is not a snow day. This is not where you just get to pull the covers over your head and just wait. It's like things are still moving. You just need to adjust with them. And that's exactly what we've done. We just said, all right, people still need to move. And how are we going to make this happen? So yeah.
It's funny you brought that up. I remember that she shared that exact same analogy with me.
Good.
A great way to look at it.
Yeah.
So one last thing before we wrap this up is a lot of people don't know you guys are on our Agent Leadership Council, which means you're very involved still in the leadership and the direction and the conversation that's going on in our office. If you guys as leaders in the office, if you guys have 1 or 2 pieces of advice for the general agent base right now, what are like 1 or 2 pieces of advice you'd give someone right now in regards to their business?
Well, time blocking, right? That's
why I waited, because I knew I was going to say that.
I always revert back to that, because that's the basis of everything, right? That's how you build your plan. And then you got to execute it. So build it and then execute it. And then the other side of it is focus on listings.
And I would say too, the market is not always going to be this. Like the agents, I'm really glad we got our license when the market wasn't what it is now, because we've got a little bit of a different perspective. I think if someone has, got their license in the last maybe 4 or even 5 years, things are moving. So maybe they just don't get that, hey, it's not always going to be like this. So you have to kind of dig some roots and really have a good foundation.
I think that comes around being professional, right? So as a professional, a definition of being a professional is that you're going to better yourself. And I think that's easy to forget also. A lot of people are working from home. There's not as much attachment to things, and stuff's getting canceled. So you have to seek out professional, getting better education and practice. All those kind of things don't just stop because we're not necessarily going to the office every day.
Yeah. So still plug in.
I think you guys hit some killer bullet points there of things that we need to focus on, right? Stay consistent, commit to your calendar, do the activities, focus on listing conversation, because our inventory is low. The agent that controls the listing is gonna win. And then that last piece I think is so critical right now is, what do I need to do to increase my skill set so that I have the skills that match today's market? And I might get a couple haters for saying this, but I really think the last several years, like, there were a bunch of people making money in real estate that really never spent time growing and learning how to be great real estate agents, because it was an easier market.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
We're moving into a market where it's going to take more skill set to provide a better service to our clients, and the agent that doesn't take the time to increase that skill set and grow will lose in the future. And the one that does will pick up more market share. There's going to be, I think, a widening of a really good real estate agent versus a subpar real estate agent because of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well said. I appreciate that. So anything else you guys want to chat about before we wrap up our conversation?
He's looking at me, I'm looking at him.
Well,
No, just everybody stay safe, and we're blessed to be able to still help people. It was, we helped people while we were in the military, and we still get to do that. So everybody stay safe and help people, achieve the American dream.
awesome. Thank you guys. And I just want to tell you guys publicly too, how grateful I am to be in business with you, not only in KW Success, but we're partners in some other adventures as well. And I look up to you guys a lot and just really appreciate you guys. So thank you for all you do and for your friendship and your partnership.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Marcus. See ya.